Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle, 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 doo. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Hey, we're going to do an unboxing today. An unboxing related to the film Dick Tracy, which came out 35 years ago. 5 days ago. 5 days ago, it came out 35 years ago. That makes sense? June 15th, 1990, the movie Dick Tracy came out. So... actually what happened was there was this drop by Gutter Garbs, and they were like, hey, we got this Dick Tracy drop. It's only open for like a weekend, but that was also Father's Day weekend, so time got away from me and I wasn't able to get that. So I was like, you know what, I couldn't get that, but I'm gonna get another Dick Tracy item, something vintage from the actual release, because they went wild with the merchandising. They were hoping what Batmania achieved with 89 Batman could also be achieved with 90 Dick Tracy, but didn't quite happen. Dick Tracy Mania didn't really exist, but the merchandising was awesome. It was everywhere. I mean, I was a little kid with Dick Tracy stuff. I remember specifically, well, I had a Dick Tracy shirt, but I also remember this coloring book, like this Dick Tracy coloring book that I had, and I remember my grandpa painting in one page, and it was just wonderful, and he was like really focusing on shadows and highlights and things like that, and it was like, whoa, never seen anybody try and do that with a kid's coloring book. But anyway, let's unbox this Dick Tracy item, which I believe is quite rare. So, oh, I already opened it. I haven't looked in it yet, but I did cut the seam, so let's see what we got. Oh my goodness. Okay. Maybe got that little hint. This is very exciting. I didn't even know this thing existed until I just came across it on the internet when I was looking for Dick Tracy shirts. And I've done this before, looked for Dick Tracy shirts, but I've never seen this one. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Wow. Okay, here we go. So the movie came out on the 15th, right? But the world premiere, one of the world premieres, because there was one in Woodstock, Illinois, which is where the creator of Dick Tracy is from. So that was like the first one. But then like the real kickoff was at Disney World on June 14th, world premiere shirt. Because they do have other shirts that look similar to this that are like, I was there, opening night, and it's like June 15th, right? And then it also has like a blank spot on there where the movie theater would stamp their name. So like if you went to, if this was your local theater, that name was stamped on there, participating theaters, right? And I didn't have one of those because I did not see it opening night, but that opening night day, you could get those shirts. So that's not what this is. And those you can get, you know, there's a lot of dead stock out there of those, but this is what they handed out to people at Disney World that went to that world premiere. And I am so happy to have it. So look at this. It says world premiere, June 14th, 1990. It has an iconic image from the Dick Tracy film, that like icon there, one of the icons that they have. You know, they have had a few of them. You know, this one was very iconic. Are you able to see this? Right there. That one. You can see I collect Dick Tracy stuff. Not to an enormous degree, because there's a lot of stuff out there, but I like to sprinkle it in. You can see we got Dick Tracy right there, and then the blank over here, and then, you know, Breathless, I guess I should say, Breathless Mahoney, and then we got Flat Top, and then Big Boy right there. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, what else? I mean, I got the movie also, but what I really love, I've shown this a few times on the channel, is this VHS. I didn't have it on VHS, but my friend did, so that's how I watched it. But what I love about it is the back of it and how all the information is sideways. Isn't that crazy? And also, look at the way the title's written. Normally it's written down. Here, it's written up. What were they thinking? Diabolical. Okay, so more with this shirt, and it says Dick Tracy there at the bottom. It says Disney right here, Disney film, and then here it says Disney MGM Studios theme park. So now that's called Disney's Hollywood Studios, but back in the day it was called MGM Studios, and it was at Disney World. And they have like a Chinese theater replica out there with a bunch of handprints and stuff. So they have all these Dick Tracy actor handprints in there. Or at least they have Warren Beatty anyway, who also plays Dick Tracy and directed. But his prints are in there, and he also wrote Dick Tracy on it. So it's not like this is Warren Beatty's square. It's like Warren Beatty's for the Dick Tracy premiere. So that is really cool. I am just so excited to have this. I didn't know this existed, right? I didn't know it existed. And then I was like, I need to look for more of these. And so I bought this one, but then I looked for more, and there was one that was pretty cheap actually, but it was covered in like paint, like somebody had used it to paint a fence or something like that. That one was pretty low in price. And then there was another one that was like, I can't remember. It was well over $100. Might have been multiple hundreds. I can't remember now. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I got this one, which was for, it was expensive, but it wasn't, it wasn't like I wasn't even close to 100, or maybe it was half 100. I can't remember, but look at that. XL right there. Look at it. Oh my gosh. I need to just go out into the world, wear this, act like I'm going to see Dick Tracy for the first time. Speaking of Oscars, up there, Dick Tracy was nominated for 7 Oscars. It won 3. For the longest time, it was the lead winner for most Oscars won for a comic film, comic strip, comic book movie. And then eventually Black Panther tied it. Black Panther also has 3. Is that right? 3? I think so. So yeah. And yeah, 7 Oscars. That's pretty good. That's amazing for a comic book movie. But this movie's great. I had some, I've always found it more fascinating than me loving it. I have all this Dick Tracy stuff, but people may be like, why isn't it in your top 5? Why isn't it in your top 10? Maybe it is in my top 10. I don't know. But it's because it's always been almost solely the visuals that I love. And when I was a kid, the music, I just really did not like the music. I always thought that stuff took the movie to a screeching halt, and that was just not for me. So it was like a movie I had issues with, but I also found it incredibly fascinating with the art direction, the cinematography, the makeup, the prosthetics, the colors, the costuming. All of that has always been so incredibly fascinating to me, to where I've always had this grip on the film, on the film, and I don't know, I like it. Well, and here's an interesting thing. Recently, I was showing my kids some of the songs. I can't remember why I was doing that. Why was I showing them some of the songs? I can't remember, but I was showing them some of the Madonna songs, and they were kind of into it. And I was like, hey, this stuff isn't as bad as, I remember. And I haven't watched it. The last time I probably watched it was probably, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But, I'd like to give it another watch with fresh eyes. Watching my kids enjoy those songs on YouTube is how we watched them. And I'm thinking, maybe, sometimes just seeing something with fresh eyes through your kids' eyes just kind of opens up a whole new world, where you're like, you know what? I get it, and I appreciate it now. I most recently spoke about that with the movie Lilo and Stitch. Didn't really care for that movie, but watching my kids watch it really has made me like Lilo and Stitch. But yeah, have added this to the collection, and I am extremely thrilled about it. Were you there? Who was there? Anybody who watches this, were you there at the world premiere? I would love to know. What do you think of the movie Dick Tracy? Have you seen it? And if so, what do you think? What do you think of the narrative aspects? Also, I was, Hook is my favorite movie of all time, and the actor whose name escapes me right now, who plays Jack in Hook, plays the kid in Dick Tracy. So that's cool. That's really awesome. And again, so hyped to have this. It seems like a rare thing. I think it is rare. I think it is rare. Like I said, I only saw 3. One of them was covered in paint. One was super expensive. And then this one, maybe they didn't know what they had. I don't know. Or maybe this is just as much as it's worth. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much. And what I like about it also is it's a Disney World shirt. So next time I go to Disney World, I'm going to wear this to MGM Studios. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on the movie Dick Tracy in the comments below. And perhaps we'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.